Hey guys, Justin here. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to recreate Malenia Blade of Miquella in Unreal Engine using the Boss AI Toolkit. So at first I was going to rip Malenia's model and animations to use them in this tutorial, but that proved to be very difficult. So I'm going to use an anim pack by Frank Swords Animation. And so meet Marvin, Knife of Miguel. Yep, this is what we're going to use. It looks like her, right? It's kind of, it is her, sort of. I'm not going to show you how to do this anim blueprint. I've already done that in another tutorial, so be sure to check that out. So what we're going to do here is going to set up the hitboxes of the sword and the AoE. Now I'm going to tag these two hitboxes with the sword. You can actually have multiple components tagged with the same name, and it would register as the same thing. So we're going to add another sphere collision. This one is for the AoE. We're going to mainly use this for the Waterfowl dance, a very infamous move. I'm going to name this AoE. Before we begin, let's go to Blueprints, Abilities, Damage, and we're going to open up Ability Hitbox right here. We're going to connect this actor and check Use Actor. This is so the enemies can face the player while they're winding up. This is very apparent in all bosses in Dark Souls. So let's open DT Sample Phases, and we're going to add a phase for Malenia. Default phase. We don't have an intro animation right now, but Malenia does have one in the game. So we're just going to add hit animations for this boss. I've pre-made all these anim montages beforehand. So we add Malenia into the phases. It will look like this when we hit her. Now Malenia has the ability to dodge, so let's add that. Already have a dodge animation. Make sure to check can dodge. If you look at the E animation, it actually lasts 0.67 seconds. Let's type that in. Dodge cooldown for testing purposes is 3. Dodge distance is 400. Now, you'll notice that Malenia actually dodges a bit randomly in game, so let's just add a random condition to the dodge. Look like this. As you can see, she is dodging properly. Don't forget to add a notified dodge. This will actually enable her to have invul frames. So even though the player's weapon hits her, it will still be considered a dodge. Now let's add her first combo attack. First combo is actually pretty straightforward. It's just a bunch of hitbox abilities. The first two attacks are just normal slashes. I already have a slash animation right here. And let's say that the damage is right here up to here. And then he begins the combo right here. So that combo notify will call the first combo ability, which is also a hitbox ability. Now the third part of the attack is actually a charge. You will see in the video that she actually charges. It's more of a leap actually, but for our purpose in this example, I'm going to make it a charge. Let's use skill 02. And if I open this one up, I'm going to have to add the damage as well as the execute notify. The execute notify actually makes him move. Set the duration to 3.5 and cooldown to 5. You can see it looks like this. Now that doesn't really look too good, so let's open the ability charge and make sure to check rotate until charge. This will allow him to rotate until the attack actually happens. And let's increase the max distance. We also want to add a notify move to the first 2 slashes, so that the enemy can still move a bit while he's doing the attack. Normally this would be done via animation. Since we don't have that, let's just do it right here. That looks a lot better, right? So uses the dash after 2 slashes. Now this attack actually has a variation like this. So let's copy and paste this ability and let's just change the last part of the combo. I'm going to name this combo 2. And instead of a charge, we'll go for a leap to mimic the second type of attack. So games usually do this, so you don't, so the player doesn't expect what attack is going to happen, because the first 2 slashes are the same. And let's actually make the execute longer. Should look like this now. As you can see, the first 2 slashes are the same, so we don't actually know if he's going to leap or if he's going to charge. There you go. Now the next ability is Malenia's dodge to a slash. So Malenia dashes to the right of the player. So let's do that. For this ability, we're going to create a modified version of the charge ability. So we can't really, since the charge ability goes directly to the player, we want this one to go to the right of the player, or even like at the back of the player if possible. Create a child blueprint of this ability charge. Okay, so on event begin play, we're going to set the final location, and this is where we change the target location. I'm going to fast forward this and explain the code. Okay, so right here, we get the boss location, find the look at rotation towards the target actor, and then we get the right vector of that rotation times -200, which results in a left vector, so the left of Malenia, right? And then we add the forward vector of Malenia to that times 500. And then we add the location of Malenia, the boss. So this results to the right of the player, not including where the player is facing. So let's use that. Let's use the animation. I think it's /4, 3. No, it's 4. Oh no, wait, I actually have a dodge / animation. Okay. So dodge / animation. And if I modify this, so we start the execute right here. Okay, make sure to set damage to default. Targeting is at least 400. And front, set that to front. Now, as you can see, let's set that a bit further away, -350. So it's further to the right of the player. And there you go. You can definitely see that she's dashing to our right. Now the problem with this one is it only updates when the ability begins. So if we're moving while she's moving, she actually won't adjust to where we're currently at. And another problem is we don't get damage when we stay close to her, when we're kind of hugging her. So the reason he's not hitting us is because the arm is stretched too far out. So we're actually beneath the arms. We can solve this by making the capsule bigger. And we can also add an additional hitbox. We could add a hitbox to his arm, but for this video, we're just going to add a simple sphere in front. So so that we cannot dodge the ability by staying near. I'm just gonna label that with sword as well. Now, in order to solve the dodge ability, that dodge issue, we're just going to collapse this into a function. Call it set new location. And we're going to call this in the tick, right? We're going to call set new location every tick while we cannot deal damage. So while if the attack has not dealt any damage yet, or is not hitting the notified damage yet, we can still update the location of the player. Now let's add a combo / to this, because that's how the game is in Elden Ring. The dodge has a combo. It's a simple /. So you can see right there. The next ability is an upward slash. Doesn't really have anything special. It's just like the first combo ability, except in the damage we set crowd control to knock up, and then the animation is actually just 2 animations that I've connected. So it has a slow wind up. We add notify move to it, and it looks like this. So as you can see, there's a slow wind up, Now the next ability is the very infamous Waterfowl dance. I'm sure you've seen this in the videos. So what we're going to do here is we're going to duplicate ability leap. We can't actually just create a child blueprint of this like we did with charge, because there's a lot going on in here in the event tick. In the event execute. So what we're going to do is we're just going to duplicate this one and we're going to edit that. So we have 3 points here. Jump point A is the initial boss location. Point C is the location of the target. And point B is the apex of the jump, right? So we're going to modify that because in Waterfowl, she just jumps directly upward. So what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect these 2 points right here. And then we're going to reconnect from the, actually right here, break vector of point A. And then in the leap timeline, we're actually going to modify this timeline. But first, let's disconnect these two and reconnect these one instead. So now we're going to modify this this timeline, and we're gonna have to pull this one back so the jump is faster. Set this to 0. We're gonna add another point right here. This is where it goes to 0.6 and 1, and then 0.65, and yeah, we keep this one. So this should make her leap directly upwards and then dive towards the player. And we're going to use the modifier variable right here so we can dynamically adjust how far she jumps up. Okay, should probably include this in the original toolkit. So yeah, because of these tutorials, I'm actually getting ideas for how to improve the toolkits. So we're going to Waterfowl, dance, and Waterfowl. We use the AOE, the one we made earlier. Remember that? The big sphere, that's tagged as AOE. And now let's set damage to default. The targeting 1250. It's far enough, right? And you make use of the modifier. The Z, let's set that to 500. Yeah, or maybe 400. It jumps up 400 units. And then I actually made a waterfowl animation before this, so let's use that. So you can see this right here. We have an execute. This is where he jumps, and then 3 instances of damage. So he jumps like that, and then slashes right here, and here. And then it begins the combo after that. I also made a second shorter waterfowl animation for the third part of the sequence. So this one only slashes once and then it combos. You'll see how it works later. And then the final part of the attack is this. 4 instances of damage. And this last part is just like So let's set that 3 and 5. Let's go to debug ability index, set that to 4, so it only uses that that ability. Okay, it works. As you can see, he leaps up, directly up, and then dives. Whereas if it was a normal leap ability, it's like he's just jumping, not diving. So let's add the next combos to this attack. So the next one is a charge. Use AoE. Damage is default. And let's set the targeting distance to like 400. Yeah, 400. And then the animation, let's just use the dodge slash for this one. It's just a normal charge ability. And then let's add another combo. This is where the second Waterfowl ability happens. AoE. Default damage. Don't forget to do that. And let's set this one to 600. And visuals. The second Waterfowl. Let's use this. The shorter one. And yeah, that's about it, I think. And the last part of the ability is another charge ability. The damage. Oh wait, I forgot to set the modifier. Yeah, since the second Waterfowl is a shorter jump, right? So let's set that 250. Almost forgot. Okay, so let's set this one to the combo. And max distance of 500. Don't forget to set the duration and the cooldowns. Now, looks like this. As you can see, those are the 4 parts of the Waterfowl dance. Jumps up, dives, a quick charge, another Waterfowl, and then that final combo. Okay, so to make this look better, I'm going to use a visual effects pack. This is a modified version of the wind attack, and it should look like this. As you can see, it looks really cool. Now the last part is Malenia's grab ability. She actually charges forward and then she grabs you. So we're gonna do that. Let's use this dash attack. Now Malenia grabs using her hand, but we don't really have that. So let's just pretend. Okay, so this is a grab. We start with a charge. And we don't really need a component tag here because we're not doing any damage. This is just a charge. Max this is 700. And let's use the dash animation. And then this is where we put the actual grab ability using the sword. Remember, have this near hit. We're going to use this instead because we don't have, a hand grab. And then we're going to use this one. as the actual grab animation. So the grab starts here, get attached to the sword right here up to here. Okay, so we have 2 instances of damage as well during the grab. So let's add the animation, mal grab, the damage default, and make sure to crowd control is knocked back. This is for when he throws us away. Launch strength is 2. And yeah, that's about it, I think. Let's test that out. It's index 5, so let's set the debug index again to 5 so that we can easily test it out. Okay, and we forgot to actually add a grab point. Here, sword grab, sword comma grab, because we're going to add a component here that is tagged with the grab. So let's add a sphere, sphere collision, and drag it down the sword where we are attached, and tag grab, compile, save, and now we should be attached to that grab point like so, and he throws us away. Dash grab. Let's modify this a bit. So the combo, the grab, begins right before the charge finishes. Now, if you're wondering how you can do it like this, where Malenia throws the player up the air and then it goes down the blade, this is actually an animation. The grab point is attached to a bone that is animated. It's animated so that you're thrown in the air and then you land on the sword. That is actually an animation. So all the abilities in place, it will look like this. Do note that I did make some adjustments to the cooldowns and the durations of the attack, so this might look different from what you have. It takes a lot of fine-tuning, especially in the animations, to make it look really good. So you have to play with the notifies and the cooldowns as well. Now you'll notice that she actually begins the attack using the Waterfowl dance, but Malenia doesn't actually do that in Elden Ring. So in order to solve that, I'm going to create a second phase that contains all of the abilities, and the first phase now only contains the first 4. So it doesn't have Waterfowl and it doesn't have the grab. So there are 2 ways to solve this. The first one is to go in here, add the second phase, and set next phase trigger to after X seconds. After, let's say, 15 seconds, it triggers Malenia 2. So if you do that, you can see that no longer does the Waterfowl first. But the problem with this approach is, you're going to see later, that Malenia actually cancels an ability midway because of the phase change. So the proper way of doing this is to, in the boss behavior, let's set this to manual as again. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a function called change phase. And so when we change the phase, we're going to check is if the ability is playing. So is playing ability. If it's not playing an ability, we go and trigger the next phase. But if it is playing an ability, we set a timer. We set a timer to call this function again. So change phase, set that to 0.25. Okay, so we then check again, and in here we do the same, another change phase, but this time it's 15 seconds. So the change phase calls this one and it checks if you're playing an ability. If not, phase trigger. If yes, check again after a while. So it now will look like this. Using regular attacks, and like after 15 seconds, it should do the waterfowl. Okay, so I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Let me know in the comments below. I will include these abilities, at least the ability blueprints, in the next update. So they're like new templates for you guys, with some improvements, of course. She has a lot more abilities than this, especially if you look at the wiki. And she also has a second phase. So let me know if you want to see that one as well, or if there's a particular boss that you want to see get made using Unreal Engine and the Boss AI Toolkit. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. Cheers.